Arjun was the kind of boy everyone had given up on. At 19, his days were a blur of endless sleeping, aimless scrolling through his phone, and avoiding anything that required effort. His room was always a mess, clothes thrown everywhere, empty packets of chips on the floor, and a desk covered in dust. He wasn't a bad person, just unmotivated. If life was a race, Arjun wasn't even at the starting line. His parents had stopped scolding him. Teachers no longer called on him in class. Friends stopped inviting him out. The unspoken truth was clear. Arjun wasn't going anywhere in life, and he was painfully aware of it. One evening, his father knocked on his door. "Arjun, I need you to meet someone tomorrow," he said softly. "Who?" Arjun muttered, without looking up from his phone. "An old man who helped me when I was your age. Just go. You owe me that much." Arjun sighed, but didn't argue. Maybe it was easier to just go than to deal with his father's disappointed face. The next day, Arjun found himself standing in front of a small, weathered shop tucked in a quiet corner of the city. A wooden sign read, "Fixing lives one habit at a time." Inside, an old man sat behind the counter repairing a broken clock. His hands moved slowly, but steadily, every motion deliberate. "You must be Arjun," he said without looking up. "Yeah, my dad said you could help me or something," Arjun replied, awkwardly. The man finally looked at him, his eyes sharp, yet kind. "Help you? No, but I can teach you something if you're willing to learn." I guess," Arjun shrugged. The old man smiled faintly and handed Arjun a small jar filled with pebbles. "Here's your first task," he said. Arjun frowned. "A jar of rocks? Seriously?" "Yes. Every night before you sleep, do one thing, just one, that improves your life, no matter how small. Then, drop a pebble into this jar. When it's full, come back to me." Arjun rolled his eyes but took the jar. "Fine, whatever." That night, Arjun stared at the jar on his desk. He thought about the task. One small thing to improve my life. With zero motivation, he decided to just make his bed, something he hadn't done in months. He dropped the first pebble in the jar. The next day, he brushed his shoes and cleaned his desk. Pebble number 2. The day after that, he took a short walk outside. Pebble number 3. Days turned into weeks. Something strange began to happen. He started waking up earlier without forcing himself. His room stayed cleaner. His mind felt a little clearer. Each pebble felt like a silent promise. I am capable of doing something, even if it's small. Still, Arjun wasn't a new person overnight. There were days he failed, days he felt the pull of laziness again. But every time he'd hear the old man's words, "Just one thing today, that's all." 3 months later, the jar was full. Arjun returned to the shop, this time with a little more confidence in his walk. The old man looked at the jar and nodded. "Good. Now, tell me, what changed?" Arjun thought for a moment. "I don't know. I just started doing small things, and now I feel like I can do more. Like maybe I'm not hopeless." The old man leaned forward. "That's the secret, Arjun. Big dreams are built on small habits. Laziness doesn't disappear in one day. It starves slowly when you feed it less and less. You didn't just fill a jar with pebbles. You filled your life with momentum." Arjun smiled faintly, but the old man wasn't done. "Now," he said, "empty this jar, but keep it. Tomorrow, start again. This time, make each pebble stand for something bigger than the last." Months passed. Arjun didn't just keep up the habit, he expanded it. A morning walk became a morning jog. Reading 5 pages became finishing a book every month. Cleaning his room turned into reorganizing the whole house. His grades improved. he started a small online business selling custom phone cases. People began noticing the change. The once lazy boy was slowly becoming unrecognizable. One evening, his father entered his room and froze. The bed was neatly made, the desk spotless. The boy he once feared would waste his life, now working intently on his laptop. "You've changed," his father said quietly. Arjun looked up, smiling. "No, Dad. I just started with one pebble." Years later, Arjun stood on a stage giving a talk to hundreds of students. He shared his story, the laziness, the jar, the small habits that transformed him. He held up the same jar, now filled with golden stones. This, he told them, is the proof that change is not about giant leaps. It's about small steps taken every single day. If you feel stuck, don't aim to change your whole life tomorrow. Just start with one pebble. The audience was silent, many wiping away tears. Moral of the story? Small habits are powerful. You don't need to fight your laziness all at once. You just need to take one small action today, because success is not built in a single moment. It's built pebble by pebble, day by day.
If this story touched your heart, share it with someone you love. Maybe it'll help them. And if you believe stories like these deserve to be heard, please like, comment, and subscribe to Life Lessons Library. Your one click keeps these stories alive.